In the lead-up to Tuesday night's State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress, the White House was playing up the speech as being one where President Barack Obama would be declaring the page turned from a bleaker, dismal yesterday for the U.S. of A. to a better and brighter future ahead. While high on hubris, the reality of what the president had to talk about was less than a page-turner and more of a wish it's so if the facts didn't get in the way speech. True, the president could rightly talk about an upturn in the economic aura that has been pervasively weaker than expected, and this far since the recession officially ended. But more jobs were created last year than any time since long before the housing market went belly up in 2008. Granted, those jobs are not the full-time, good-paying jobs of yesterday. But they are jobs. Those jobs happen to be mostly part-time and closer to the bottom pay rate. We'll admit the stock market is soaring. However, the market is artificially inflated by actions of the Federal Reserve, more than by any real market forces being allowed to operate. Same with the much lower cost at the pump when filling up the tank in the family car. Those prices are lower as a result of Saudi Arabia keeping a glut on crude oil more than U.S. policy. The president did rightly call for authorization to use force from Congress to combat the forces of the Islamic State. At the same time, the president continued to assert that terrorism is on the run and not winning. The president claimed his policies are working in staving off the global threat and keeping Russia's march toward reclaiming its former glory in check. Nothing can be farther from the reality on the ground. The president did set out an agenda. It is an agenda for his party, the Democratic Party, to pursue as it tries to hold onto the keys to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, 2016. It is an agenda that has little chance of fruition over the next 2 years, as Republicans hold the reins in the Senate and the House of Representatives. Already proclaiming veto threat after veto threat, the president continued his threats twice during last night's speech. He smugly claimed that he had no more elections to face because he'd won both of his in 2008 and 2012. He ignored that voters put checks on his policies in 2010 and 2014 by putting Congress into the hands of Republicans. Excuse me. Newly elected Joni Ernst, senator from Iowa, gave the GOP response and committed no gaffes or floods. She did her job. She did note that Republicans had urged voters about finding a way to govern together with the White House. But that's about it. There were some, admittedly, items that may find compromise, free trade agreements, and some tax reform, but not much else. It's going to be a long 2 years from the cornfield The president appears to be in La La Land with his victory lap, proclaimed last night, staring in the face of what is happening on the ground all around the world. Republicans must find a way to overcome the divisiveness and govern, or face another humiliating loss in 2016. Who will blink? Who will do right by America? Although a CNN ORC poll revealed that a vast majority of Americans think the president pointed the country in the right direction last night, will either the president or the Republican-controlled Capitol be able to map out a path in the right direction? Will we see more detours, more roadblocks, and a continued disillusionment and hiding eyes from the reality, not just the US of A, but around the world?